Welcome to another video, and today we are going to do past paper question, Textile, Clothing and Fashion, paper 2 for 2024. All right, so this is the first question, question number 1. It says, define the term textiles as it relates to fabric and give an example. So we are going to define textile and we are going to give one example, 2 marks. So the first one, a textile is a material made by interlacing fibers, which can be either natural or synthetic to create fabric or cloth. And our example will be cotton. The next part of the question for question number 1 is it state 2 ways in which textile products are used in the hotel industry and give one example of each. So you have variety of textiles products that are used in the industry. I just chose 2. And the first one is bedding and linen. And the next one is curtain and drapes. And they ask us to give an example. So why do we use so bedding and linen? Hotel are high quality cottons, right? So they use cotton or linen, so their bed are normally soft, their pillowcase, right? These textiles are often chosen for comfort, durability, and the ease of maintenance, yeah? And you contributing to a luxurious sleeping experience for the guests. The next one is curtain and drapes. And the reason, I'll give an example, hotel often use every drapes or blackout curtain made from textile like velvet and polyester blend, right? And these curtains serve both functional and decorative purposes to help block out any light and maintain privacy while also enhancing the room interior design. So you can use any of those. So those are those 2, and that's value 4 marks. Let's go over, continue with question number 1. It say, Timothy made some primary school uniform from fabric made from a single span yarn. Parents complained that the uniform were dull and it peeled easily. So the question is asked, suggest the alternative yarn that could be used to solve the problem stated above. So Timothy can use pal yarn, which is an alternative one, right? That's 1 mark. And it say give 2 reasons for your choice. All right, so filled yarns is made from twisting 2 or more single yarns together, which result it make it stronger. It also make it smoother and the more durable fabric. So this type of yarn is less to be peeled, right? Often better resistant to wear and tear. So you know that you're going to wear the uniform often, so you need durable fabric. And generally provide a high quality finish, making it more suitable for school uniform that made the withstand regular use and frequent washing. You know, every weekend we have to wash all the uniforms. So those are some reasons. All right, so let me go to the next question. So the next part of question number 1 state, Aaron is not sure of the type of fabric best suited for making a pair of pot holders. So Aaron wants to make pot holders, right? He decided to conduct a burning test, and we all know what a burning test as a clothing and textile student, yeah? And on 2 fabric samples he collected. So they gave us a sample of a burning test, and then you must give the fabric that you're talking about. So they have the fabric sample 1, fabric sample 2. And in the burning test, you have in the flame, the residue, the odors, and then the fiber content. So in the flame, it say burn quickly with a yellow flame. The residue say light, feathery, grayish, black, all right? And then the odor says smell like burning paper, and our answer will be rayon, right? The next one in flame, that's sample 2, it shrink away from the flame. It round, hard, black, brown, right? And the odor smell like chemical, and that fabric will be polyester. So so you'll have in table 1, insert the fabrics, and we already did that, right? 2 marks. All right, it goes down to say, based on the test result observed, recommend which fabric is best for an area to be making potholders and give example. So I wouldn't choose rayon and polyester for a pot holder because these fabric are silky and you have to have something more firm. So my answer is cotton. I'll choose cotton because cotton is breathable and can be cool to be added thickness and does not melt when it's exposed to eye heat. And that's 3 marks. So you're going to choose the fabric and then give the reason, 3 marks. And that conclude question number 1 with value 16 marks. Or you can choose wool is another fabric you can choose, and you can explain with the reason, say, wool have natural insulating properties and provide good protection against heat. So you can use either cotton or wool for any of your answers. Anyone will do. And it's the same 3 marks. You can choose anyone. All right, let's go to question number 2. Question number 2 say, define each of the following term and give example of each. So the first term say hue, H-U-E. And at the moment you see the word hue as a clothing and textile, you know that you're talking about color. It's another name that they use for color. All right, so you refer to a dominant color or a pure color of an object as perceived by human eye. So another word for you is color when you're talking about textile and fashion. The next one is shade. Shade refers to a variation of colors or quote unquote hue that is created by adding black to it. So you can have red and then you put black to it and then it gives you burgundy. Yeah, so it gives you another, so it gives you a darker color. All right. The next question says, explain 2 reasons why colors is added to fabric. Why do you think people add color to fabric? 1, it's aesthetic appeal and fashion, yeah? And then 2, it's for functional purposes, and that's 2 marks. Still on question 2, it say, Millicent used natural dye on her new summer collection. However, the collection was judged as being dull and expensive. Recommend 2 ways that the summer collection could be improved by using synthetic dye. So we already know the natural dye already, and we know the synthetic dye, right? So recommend 2 ways you can improve. So 1, you can use a cup of salt water when you're dyeing your fabric, or you can use a cup of vinegar, and it can remain the color of the fabric, all right? And that's, I think that was 2 marks. All right. Next question, next part of the question for question number 2. It say, in addition to dyeing the fabric, Millicent added design to the summer collection, reflecting the theme flowers. Use the box provided below to complete the following one. So I made a sketch. So they say you're supposed to sketch a casual top that have been part of their summer collection based on the themes of flowers. So I kind of make a little photo here, yeah, to show the flower on the collection. And that's 2 marks. So all you need to do is sketch a body, yeah, or a silhouette. Let me use silhouette. And then you put the clothing on and make your design. Make sure you have some flowers on it, yeah? That's 2 marks only for sketching, and make sure that the design contain flowers, right? Then the next part say, illustrate 3 stitches or the embroidery method could be used, creating the design on the fabric. So if you're going to use the embroidery, you can use the satin stitch, the stem stitch, and the French knot. 3 marks. And then label one of the embroidery. Label one of the embroidery stitches above. So you can label the stitches here. And for instance, you have the French here at the corner of the shoulder. Then you can label that. Or you can label a stem one, any one of them, and that will be 1 mark. All right, question number 3 now. It say, state one difference between a domestic machine, washing machine, and a commercial washing machine. So that they're asking us, what is the difference between a domestic machine, washing machine, and a commercial one? So in my response, I write, commercial machine are designed for the angling of larger load and more frequent use. In contrast, domestic machine are built for smaller loads and less frequent use, with design for tailoring and regular household. So you know that for the domestic one, is for your own family to family, and then the commercial one is for big enterprises where they have a lot of loads to do and frequent use, right? So that's 2 marks. I think that's 4 marks. The next one say, describe 2 factors to consider when choosing a laundry equipment. So when you're choosing laundry equipment, so for instance, a machine, you're talking about the capacity and the load size. So you think about the family, how much persons you're going to cater for when you're going to do your laundry, that's 1. And then efficient, energy efficient, and of course, you're talking about the cost, 4 marks. All right, let's go down to the next question. I'll go across, all right. It say, the news report and overgrowth of algae resulting in fish dying on the banks of the local river. An environment test conclude that the algae built up and fish killed were caused by excessive presence of detergent in the river, right? So fish are dying and they were wondering what happened. So the questions say, suggest one possible reason why the detergent is causing the build-up in the river. All right, so the detergent in the river likely contain nutrients, right? Such as phosphate and nitrate. So these compounds, right, which introduced into the river can cause the nutrients for pollution. So it's not good for the river, right? So that can cause a problem. Then that's only 1 mark. The next question say, suggest one reason for the fish kill in the river. So as I mentioned about the pollution and the nitrates, right? So fish and other organisms need oxygen to survive, just like human, right? So when oxygen level drop too low, it results in the mass of death of those fish that is in the river. 1 mark. The next question say, explain 2 actions that citizens can take to reduce the likelihood of the river being contaminated with those detergent that they use, right? So proper disposal of household waste, water waste, that's 1. And then use environmental friendly detergent, and that value 4 marks, all right? They can explain. All right, going down, continuing with question 3. It say, Andrea used soap to wash her silk blouse. The blouse came out of the wash looking dingly, and old. Explain 2 methods that Andrea could use to prevent the soap from damaging her silk blouse. All right, so if you're using silk, you know you have to have gentle detergent, specifically for delicate fabric, because silk is very delicate. And they say that we should, so we explain. So Andrea should switch to the mild detergent, right? That is formulated specifically to delicate wash like the silk. And the next method Andrea can use is do a hand wash in cold water. Instead of using the washing machine, Andrea can hand wash her silk blouse in cold water. All right, let's go over to question 4. It say, state the first 4 steps of the decision-making process. One, identify the problem, then you gather the information, you identify alternative. And when you say identify alternative, we're talking about brainstorming. And then the final one, because it's 4 marks, you're going to weigh the evidence. So you are going to evaluate what is going on, all right, based on the problem, 4 marks. 4B, identify 2 roles of the stylist in the clothing and fashion industry. All right, so identify 2 roles of a stylist. So 1, I will say personal styling to fit your personal needs, and fashion editorial, and of course, photo shot styling. You can name some others that is suitable for a stylist. We have a lot. All right, going to a table. They gave us a table C, table number 2, which allows 3 sewing projects and answer the question that follows. So give us a table about classification and use of appropriate stitches. So the first one is they gave us the sewing projects, and we must find the classification and the appropriate stitch. I gave you 2 options. All right. So you know you can stitch with your hand. You know that you can use the machine to stitch as well. So let's talk about doing an hem of a formal skirt. So classification will be hand stitch, and if you use the hand stitch, then you can use your hand for the appropriate stitch, and so you'll have the slip or the running stitch that you can use with your hands, right? If you're going to use the machine, see, classification will be a machine stitch, then the machine will do a zigzag, and it will also do a serge. Use a machine to do the serger. That will be the appropriate stitch, yeah, to do your formal skirt. Good. So the next one say, fill in the panel of the flowers on the wall. So you're making a wall hanging. So, and again, you can do your hand embroidery. And if you're using the hand embroidery for classification, then the appropriate stitch will be a running and back stitch. All of this can be done with your hand. If you're going to use a machine embroidery, because you have machine that does embroidery, right? Then that appropriate stitch will be satin stitch. Making buttonhole on a white blouse. So if you're using your hand again for your hand stitching, that will be a classification. So hand buttonhole. So you do your measurement and you measure the button, and then you cut, you sew. All right, or you attach the button, sorry. If you're going to use the machine, because you know the machine of buttonhole section, right, where you can sew. So you use the machine buttonhole stitch for that part. And that's 3 marks for you to identify classification. I gave you 2 if you're using the hand stitch or the machine. And I gave you 2 options as well, both if you want, right? And those are 3 marks for the classification and 3 marks for the example of the appropriate stitch. All right, let's go over to the next part of the question. You say a class has been assigned a project with French seam. And we all know what is a French seam, right? So select appropriate fabric to construct the French seam and give 1 reason for your choice. All right, so if you're going to make a French seam for the project, you'd use a lightweight cotton. And the lightweight nature of the cotton, right, ensure that the French seam will not add bulk, maintaining the fabric soft and airy quality while providing a clean and professional finish. And that is 4 marks, I guess. And then the next one is 2 marks. It says, state 2 ways that the tape measure should be used constructing the French seam, including the specific measurement. So they want us to tell us the measurement in our answer. I know I did a lot of writing, but you can just size it down to what you want. So for the 2 ways will be measuring the seam allowance, that's 1. And the next one, measuring and marking the fabric pieces. So they say to give the specification. So if you're going to measure the seam allowance, right, you use the tape measure accurately to measure the mark of the initial seam allowance. For example, if the total seam allowance for the project is 1/2 inch, you could measure the sewed first seam of 1/4 inch for the raw edge, right? After trimming the seam allowance, you will fold. You remember it's a French, you know. So you'll fold the fabric for the seam, and then the final stitch, you'll turn 1/4 of the inch again and close it. Because remember, the French seam is you have to close it, right? You sew first with 2 pieces of fabric, you fold over, and then you stitch. And then the next way is measuring. And we're saying that use the tape measure to measure the fabric pieces in the correct dimension, allowing pieces of the seam allowance. For example, if the pattern required a fabric piece that is 10 inches wide with an half inch seam allowance on the side, you will measure the mark and then the fabric of at least 11-inch wide, and then you will include the seam. Hope you get that one. All right, so we're moving down to question number 5, almost there. State 2 social and ethical responsibility of a consumer. I have a lot here. 1, the right for safety, the right to be informed, the right to choose, the right to be heard, the right to redress. You can choose any 2, and you are correct. Anyway, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I've listed 5, but you only need 2. Next question. Describe 2 ways in which advertisement can influence a consumer for buying decisions. So how do people influence persons to buy food in terms of advertisement? We have a lot. I just gave you 2. Creating emotional appeal. You're begging. Oh my God, you're begging. You're begging, you're pleading. Next, shaping perception and brand your image, right? 4 marks. All right, let's go over to the next part of the question. It's saying, study figure 1, that's below, right? Which show drawing of 2 of 5 feet 6 inches of answer the question. So this is the person, and the person chest is 40 inch, which is 105.6 centimeter. And the waist is 44 inch, which is 111.76 centimeter, right? And this is the front view and the side view, as you can see. So the questions say, so as a stylist, explain 1 way in which the following element and of design will assist him in selecting outfit that are suitable for his body type. And you actually know his body type here, good, based on the picture. So they're talking about texture. So choosing smooth, right, texture around the waist can help to reduce the visual emphasis of the body part. Because here we have a lot of bulk here, right? So if you choose the waistline of the texture, these textures do not reflect the light, such as shiny and bulky, which will help to minimize the appearance of the waist. All right. The next one is line. So you use vertical lines, right, for a slim waist effect. So incorporating vertical lines on the outfit, particularly around the waist area, can create an illusion of length, which help and slim the appropriate of the torso, right, of the entire body. 2 marks. All right. This next part of the question say, in the space provided below, sketch a design of a semi-formal outfit that could enhance, right, the body shape of that person. 3 marks. So I've got a photo here. Just a photo to just say the design of a semi-formal wear. 3 marks for you to just draw. I have 2 photos. You can choose any one or you can draw your own. All right, think about it and draw your own. And then they ask to label 2 colors. So 2 colors of the same person. Remember, the person body type is 44, and then the waist, let me go back. So the waist was 44 inch and the chest was 40 inch. All right, so label at least 2 colors. So you put 2 colors. I have dark navy blue, so darker color to reduce the bulk. And I have charcoal gray. So those are 2 darker color. So the darker color reduce their bulk, the bulk of their type of body that the person have. And then label 1 appropriate feature. So the appropriate feature on this will be vertical lines. So you see the lines on this one, or both of them are vertical line. That will be the function. And that's only 1 mark for you to label. So you just label, for instance, the line going down here, you just make a line and label your virtual lines, all right? All right, so we have the final question now. Question number 6. It say, state 2 body measurement other than bust and waist that are required when drafting a bodice for a pattern. So you can use a shoulder length or you can use a back length. 2 marks. Then you say define each of the following term and give example. What is a dress silhouette? And they say, what is a body silhouette? All right, so it's actually similar, but let's go in the definition. So a dress silhouette refers to the overall shape of the outline that a dress creates when it is worn. It is the way the dress falls on the body and the visual form is gives to the wearer. So that's a dress silhouette. For a body silhouette now, it says the body silhouette refers to the overall shape or outline of the person body. So one is about dress, one is about body, yeah? Same thing. As it appears from the outside, it is the contour created by the body natural structure, including the shoulder, the bust, the waist, the hips, and legs when viewed in a profile or from a distance, all right? So those will be the answer. And then we are going on to the final page of question 6. It say, Margaret has chosen to represent her school in a competition for her open day. She is required to assemble a pattern piece in figure 2 for constructing a blender cover. She should also use her creativity in finishing the raw edge of the hem. And you have 2 pattern pieces, cut 1 and cut 2, and she's making a blender cover, right? 2 marks for all of those excitement. Margaret selected a denim, and we know a denim fabric, like a jean thick fabric, right? The denim fabric can be made to cover. And they gave us the fabric. So they say, give one reason why they choose to use a denim fabric. So the denim fabric, yeah, this is durable, ensure that the blender cover withstand regular use, protect the blender from dust and scratches, and maintain its shape over time. And that's 2 marks. All right, and then let's go to the top of this part. It say, Margaret has discovered that the fabric is lightly off grain. Explain 2 methods which could be most appropriate for strengthening the denim fabric. And 2 method would be you pull on the bias. And when we say pull on the bias, we mean that pulling on the bias can correct minor grain distortion, and help the fabric return to its original shape, ensuring the grain runs straight. And the next one is steam and press. So you can steam. So the heat and the moisture from the steam help to soften the fabric, making it easy to manipulate the fabric back into the alignment. All right, that's 4 marks. The next question says, describe the first step in assembling the blender cover. So what we'll do, we'll measure and mark the fabric. And then, so the first thing that we'll do, so if you put measure and mark the fabric, then you're fine. I just want to explain. So begin the measuring of your blender by determining the dimension needed for the cover. Typically, you need to measure the height, the width, and the depth of the blender, adding extra for seam allowance, usually 1/4 inch, and ease if desired, 2 marks. And the final question, recommend 2 decorative methods other than the figure 2, which could use for finishing the blender cover. So I will use a bias tape binding, or we can use a piping to finish off. And that's the end of the paper. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you learn, hope you enjoy. Bye.